In doing this drawing that I'm calling I Am a Big Place, my goal has been to show the enormity of all of the different parts of the White House, just how big the residence is. And one of the ways that I'd like to do that is to show as many of the circulation things as possible, the stairs and the elevators and the dumbwaiters and maybe even the chimney flues. I've decided that I want to put in all of the stair locations so that in order to make them show, I don't draw anything in front of them accidentally. The problem with exposing the stairs, all the stairs, is that nobody knows what they really consist of. Another thing that complicates matters is that there aren't any photos of any of the flights of stairs so that I can count up the number of risers and treads, which is very annoying. So I have to do a lot of educated guesses in all of this. I've tried to add up and make an estimate of the space between floors in inches. And given that stair risers are usually 7.5, 8.5 inches tall, how many risers would be required? And then we go from there. So I'm estimating that between the ground floor and the first floor, we have 18 risers at 8.3 inches apiece, which gets us 150 inches, 12.5 feet. So I'm thinking that will fit. Another thing that is a variable is that the stairs are next to the elevator, and I map out the location of the elevator on all 7 levels to make sure that they're all in the same place in a stack. Transcribing each of the individual floors can introduce a certain amount of wiggle room, so to speak. So I have to reacquaint myself with where the elevator is in a direct line up and down so that the stairs can be in their correct places behind them. All of these stair arrangements are what are known as U-shaped stairs. So there's a flight that goes halfway up to a landing, and then you turn around and you go the other way up. Something that makes things even more confusing is that the landings have risers. According to the plans from the Historic American Building Survey at the Library of Congress that was done in 1992, the landings have 2 steps in them. Some of them do. We draw a rectangle indicating the height of the staircase and the width of where the stair treads fall, and then divide that up by the proper number of spaces. Once that's been decided, it's been divided up into the proper number of spaces for the risers and the treads, then I can draw a dimensionalized version of the steps. I can slide it in under the main pencil and draw it in. The only problem is it's backwards. Photos indicate that the first flight of stairs that go up to the landing are away from the viewer, and I have that backwards. Fun! So we get to draw that all over again. Furthermore, in drawing the staircase that goes from the basement mezzanine up to the ground floor, I have another thing to worry about, which is the angle of the stairs. If the risers and the treads aren't the same size, then they don't have the same angle, in which case everything will look really weird. So I have to redraw that staircase with the new reality of making sure that everything is the same size so that it has the same angle as we go up in the building. And when you see all of the difficulties involved with this, the number of moving parts, you can see why I'm so cautious about making sure that everything is copacetic before advancing on this. I would certainly hate to have to redraw any of this staircase because of some imperfection somewhere. As groovy as all this is, I need to put an elevator shaft in front of all of this work. And I've decided that because I am the least familiar with the stairs that go from the second to third floor, I'm going to put the elevator car on its little piston at the second floor level. This will hide a multitude of sins, no doubt. But this is all part of the process of working on something like this. The combination of the piston and the elevator car rising up in front of all the stairs is just another way of showing the richness and the complexity of this building. By this time, you can imagine that I was tired of shooting footage of me drawing one staircase after another, so when I started the bottom of the grand stair, which begins at the basement level and goes through the basement mezzanine, there too is an elevator to the side of that. And I started drawing in this elevator at the bottom because that was really the only place that it would show. And I made it a little bit too tall, so I had to erase it and draw it a little shorter. Perhaps my favorite staircase in the White House doesn't have a name. It was a staircase that goes up over the ramp, which is over the east room on the second floor to the third floor. And it's this very undocumented, very torturous, complicated staircase that I've been yearning to draw it. So I'm not exactly sure. A lot of the steps face away from the viewer. So this is primarily a sketch and tear it out in a particular kind of way to show where the stairs are. But I need to know where they are first. So that's what this does. Over on the east side of the White House, there is a staircase that goes from the ground floor to the basement mezzanine. It's known as stair number 6. And one can see it on the plans. And there are a couple of photos that have been taken of it over the years. So I know it's actually built the way it is on the plans. My first attempt to draw this thing in perspective met with dismal, abject failure. So I had to erase it and start over again. This new cage is much more precise. When I sort of did a half-ass swing at it, it didn't come out right. So in the second time around, you try and do better by being more precise. The exact number of stairs, the exact even number of risers, etc., etc. And then, of course, there's all these wild curved handrails that are on this partial straight flight, partial spiral staircase. It's crazy. You may recall my mentioning that the landings in the servants' stairway have risers in them, what I call stepped landings. Well, somebody sent me some pictures that refute this notion. And upon looking at these photos that were taken during the Truman renovation that were sent to me by a friend, I can't see that those landings have risers in them. And so the question became whether I was going to fix those or not. What do you think? Yes, I had to fix them. It was very good to get these and some pictures that were taken during the 1902 McKim redo. And these photos give me reasonably reliable stair tread and riser counts. So I'm recalculating the entire thing with no treads in the landings. So the landings don't have any treads in them anymore. And it turns out that it all tallies with the pictures pretty darn well. So I'm going to recalculate the staircases, the stair flights that have the landings that need to be redone. And I'm going to erase them and make sure that I put in the new ones correctly. So the way that they handle this is that the landings are in the same place and the stairs that come off of the landings are in the same place, but where they can be longer or shorter is that they become there are more steps going this way, which is why you have some of the landings on the actual floor levels are asymmetrical, and some of them are symmetrical. But that's how they compensate for this. So the stair runs can get longer from the mid-floor landing outward. So with my new list of stairs and number of risers, and I'm fairly certain that all of this fits together and that it all works. As much as it grieves me to have to erase some of the what I've done, they got to come out, and I have to make sure that I don't make an error and erase the wrong set of stairs. So after I've done the dimensionalized stairs, I slip the new ones in under the main pencil and align them with hash marks that I've made on the top and on the bottom. And that way I know that they're where I want them to be. I take one last look at the overall staircase, make sure that that everything is right, and then I start repenciling the stairs that need to be redone. Now all of the staircases that I know of are in. I can move on to more rewarding things.